Okay, we're live. I think we're live now.
Hi, guys. We're live. Hi, Susanna. Good to see you. The screen wasn't frozen. We hadn't hit go live yet.
Well, either that clock is fast or my watch is slow.
Your watch is slow.
My watch is never slow.
First time for everything.
You see, time is kind of an issue with me, the clock time. I have the site in Colorado that is the home of the official atomic clock for the United States.
Hi, Amy.
I have another one that goes over to Greenwich Mean Time.
Yeah, Greenwich Mean
to get Greenwich Mean Time, which is the world's official time. And I always set my watch to that, and I've got 4 minutes.
Hi, Ellie. Hello, Ellie.
Maybe my battery's running out on my watch. I haven't had that watch this long. This is a new watch. Huh. I've only had this thing a few months.
We are a few minutes early. I agree. Is that Will at Kim Patton?
So we're early. What time you got, darling? What time you got there,
Hello,
Amy?
Ruth. Good to see you.
You got 3 minutes till?
Been worried about it.
Oh, we got through it. It was a goat rope alley, but we got through it.
It was cold, and there was no water. But we have neighbors up the road that brought us 1 p.m.
1 p.m. right now.
That's what that
Yeah,
says, too.
okay. You're right. Okay.
Anyway, we had
mine's 3
friends and
minutes
neighbors
slow.
that brought us water, so we were fine. Hi, Joe. Good to see you.
And we got our, we had 2 places that froze up, and we got those fixed without a plumber. David, who lives with Ron, who's Kate's brother-in-law up front of us, is a very jack-of-all-trades kind of guy. And he came
Very
down and fixed both of them. One of them was a faucet, a stand-up faucet out in the backyard. And the other was, I think, the bypass for the water softener that's never been used since we've lived here. So he got both of those. He got those
Hi, Lori. Good to see
sealed
you.
off. And finally, yesterday, we had water.
Lori's on her way to the hospital. What's wrong, Lori?
What, Lori? What's up?
Well, I got ready to go live early, but it didn't go live until right at 1. Apparently, it set out notices before I actually hit the go live.
You know Kate, Amy. She's always ready to go before me. I'm either on time or late. I have a saying that I use around here a lot. I'm just in time to be too late, and that's my motto.
That is
I'm
true.
just in time to be too late. And it happens a lot.
Especially if it's dishes and things like that.
Look at that. You wore blue, didn't you? You little
I had it on before you got up.
Did you?
Yep.
Oh, well. Oh, Diamond Willow. Crisis is pretty much over. They say we're going to get warming weather with another cold snap, winter per se. I don't think it's over, but I think the worst of it is gone. I don't think we're going to have any kind of anything approaching to what we've had in the last 3 days, it's been interesting, boy, I'll tell you that.
It has pointed out some rather large holes in my prepping.
Well, I mean, it's pointed out some big holes in the whole survival infrastructure for this part of the country.
Yeah, it did that.
I mean, our electrical system is under big fire right now. There's an organization called ERCOT, E-R-C-O-T.
Hi, Gail. Welcome.
The power setup here in Texas. And they're in a whole mess of trouble right now. They're getting criticized big time.
If you're not 15 minutes early, then you're late. I agree.
I felt that way for years when I was in the military and even after in my other careers. Yes, I was always early. But now that
he's retired,
it don't make a whole lot of difference. I don't pay that kind of attention to it.
Joe, we have just a little tiny bit of snow in some of the shadowed corners. Most everything is gone.
Yeah, Celtic, our electric company. But it wasn't the electric company.
My Heritage Heart.
It was all this ERCOT shit. I mean, they had the rolling blackouts. We'd have like, say, an hour.
That is the electric company.
No, it's not.
No, it's the name of the company that owns the grid.
ERCOT is the organization that runs the grid. They don't own shit.
Okay.
They don't own anything. But all of the producers have to agree to do what ERCOT says. And ERCOT's the one that dictated the rolling blackouts, which we'd have maybe an hour and a half of power, and then it'd be off for about 45 minutes. Well, when that's going on all day long, it gets pretty irritating.
We have 45 minutes of blackout for every 3 hours and 15 minutes of electricity.
No, it didn't work out that way. But anyway, we'd have a while with and then a while without, okay? Does that cover it? And it was irritating as hell because
Your electric bill doubled? Holy cow. I haven't even looked at ours yet. Have we even gotten one, or do we get one?
yeah,
It
well,
all
I
comes by-
get it. I get a notification of it, but it's automatically taken out now. Yep. Yeah, you're right. Electric and water systems went to hell in a handbasket real fast.
Mhm.
And the biggest reason is they all decided not to winterize their equipment.
Right.
I mean, why now? I got to admit, if I were sitting on a board and they were talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars to winterize a system in South Texas,
Mhm.
would I say, yeah, let's spend it? Or would I say that might be really just pissing money away?
Probably you would do what they did and say, we have so little cold weather and so
Exactly.
seldom does it come through that it gets that cold.
Yep. This is a once
Your bill
a
went
once
up
in
after
a
the
century
hurricane.
kind of deal. I mean, you could say that they've had other events like this. Don't get me wrong. They have had snow in San Antonio. They have had severe weather, but nothing that's pushed it down to like 8 degrees here, right here in River City. I mean, our place, we had 8 degrees out there one morning. Wasn't it 8 when you got up one morning?
Mhm.
Now that's freaking cold. And I don't think they prepared for that. They were thinking if it's cold, it'd be 25, maybe even 20. So do you throw the money at that? Or do
Get
you,
into single digits was very unusual.
or do you use that money where you have other needs and just hope for the best? Well, they
That's
lost.
an interesting idea. A lawyer suggested going off of auto pay for electric.
Why? Why? Well, I mean, I'm on auto pay, but why? I mean, they're going to get the money or turn off your power. You got no hammer, so why? I mean, trust me,
It's an
the
interesting
electric
idea,
company
though.
can get your attention in a hurry.
We were colder than Alaska for 2 days. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
crazy.
that
You're
doesn't
right.
surprise me.
Paid the power plant. We paid the power plant. Never happened. Stopped building it. Great. Was it going to be a nuclear power plant?
Fossil fuel or nuclear or what?
Because lawsuits can come, and if you pay, you can dispute it.
Okay.
In Idaho, they have moratoriums on shut-offs in winter to protect people. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, there was I mean, obviously the concerns here, like mine.
Uh-oh. Did you see what Will said? The
Yeah.
Jetstream model shows 2 more Arctic dips in the next 10 days.
They're
Well, I'll,
not, they're not supposed to be as bad as this one, but you never know.
I'll definitely not put my plant back out yet. If you pay, you cannot dispute it.
Well, again, I really, I mean,
I don't want it either, Amy.
was I inconvenienced enough to go through all of that bullshit and go to court and, stand up and point fingers? I'm afraid I'd have to say for me in my situation, no. But the other side of the coin was that I had to make sure,
To get your money back, just
That
got
I had
20%
oxygen.
off the bill.
and that caused me some problems. And I actually had to get a special delivery from my durable medical equipment company, where they jumped through some really big hoops and did me a real solid by getting my oxygen bottles to me when I was down to my last one. Because when the power went out, my concentrator didn't work, so I had to go to the bottles of oxygen, and those just, at the setting that I have, they only last a few hours.
Amy's still defrosting.
Yep.
I used my garage for a refrigerator during the time it was so cold. It was colder in my garage than it was in the refrigerator.
Heritage Heart Homestead. Where are you? Where is that happening? That's incredible.
With the moratorium.
$450 a kilowatt?
Where, explain a moratorium to Alex.
Moratorium would be basically it's like you're not going to do business with them. You're declaring a moratorium, meaning you still have relationships, but you're not going to do any trade. That's essentially what a moratorium is. So in other words, they're trading the electricity for our money. So if we stop, then we're basically in a moratorium. But it's not just I don't want to pay because I don't want to pay. You've got reasons in a moratorium. There are usually points of contention.
That kind of like a boycott?
No, a boycott is just a complete cutoff. A moratorium is a little less than that.
Okay.
A moratorium is like, I'm pissed, you're screwing me over. I'm probably still going to pay you, but understand you're doing me wrong here, and I'm going to kick you in the teeth if I can.
Okay.
So that's kind of a moratorium.
Heritage Heart said she's glad you were able to get your oxygen.
Yeah, things worked out real good. The guys from Home DME took care of me.
Yay, Celtic getting a power chair.
Oh,
Yay,
good.
That's wonderful news.
Got approved for a disability identity voucher. Celtic, that's great. I
Gail, where are you in Texas? That your electric bill double?
I tried to get one through Medicare and started looking into it and found out it was going to be a real goat rope. So I called a local company that did repairs and stuff on chairs. And I said, "What do you got?" With the secondhand.
Okay.
So he came out and actually brought them to me. Brought out a couple to show us.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that I got is red.
He actually brought two.
Yeah, he brought
for
two
him
of
to
them.
try them and decide which one he wanted.
And this one here really does go for me. And I got it for $1,200, which is about maybe a $4,500, $5,000 chair if you went out and bought it brand new.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a good deal on it, and I got the guy to take care of it. Because if anything breaks or I need a new battery or whatever, I've got a guy that can handle that for me. And it's always about having a guy. No matter what's going on. If your computer breaks,
I've always found it
you
important to have a guy.
need to have a guy. You got things wrong with your car, you need to have a guy. So I got a guy for my wheelchair, man. I got
Like
guys.
I said, I always found it important to have a guy.
Yep, I could. Well, okay. I see where you're going with that. I see what you're doing there. But I got guys in a lot of areas.
Well, I found
Had
you.
to.
That was good enough for me.
Once I got broke down and couldn't do all that stuff, then I needed guys to do a whole lot of different stuff.
Yep.
Temporary prohibition of an activity. There you
Power
go.
outages they have to worry about there is southeastern Idaho.
I think I explained that with a few more words than that. Temporary prohibition of an activity. That's a moratorium. There you go.
Allie's laughing at me. She caught what I was saying.
Yeah. Idaho.
Back to his
Yeah.
oxygen. The company that we've been blessed with to go with on this oxygen is an amazing, amazing company. Their home office is not in Texas.
It's in New York State somewhere.
The people who work here, there's a lady and two gentlemen that we've run into. There may be others, but all three of them are so compassionate. They go out of their way to help the people that they are dealing with. They come by after work, normal work hours. They answer the phone when they don't have to.
Yeah, I called in after I didn't realize that I didn't take into account the time difference. And I called about 10 minutes after 5 their time, which they should have been shut down and gone.
Mm-hmm.
And one woman answered the phone, and I said, "I'm trying to get a hold of Pam." She said, "Well, she might still be here. We're closed." And that's when I realized my screw up. And let me give her a try. And sure enough, she was there, and she took my call. So after hours, they'll talk to you. They're nice folks. They have a very caring attitude.
They really are.
And I'll tell you what, if you're running a durable medical equipment, that's really hard to come by because
Joe is having that problem with his dad.
You get a lot of nasty people running those DMEs because they're in it just for the money. And there's good money in those home DMEs because they're getting paid every month for my concentrator and they get paid for every oxygen bottle that I use. So they're getting paid for a whole lot of stuff. In fact, yesterday, the guy that came by, I had asked for another regulator, and he said, and he gave it to me, and he said, this one's on the house. It's an extra I had laying around. Because if he put it on the books, then Medicare would get billed for me having 2 regulators. As it is, I got 1. And the other one he just gave me. Not everybody would do that. So, good people. I like dealing with good people. Over to you. That was my soapbox moment today. It was a good soapbox.
Yeah. Celtic, I just put your doctor's appointment on the prayer list so we can be sure and remember you tomorrow morning. Hopefully you will have the chair within, well, David, every time he's needed something like that, they've had it within a day or 2. So I'm hoping you'll get your chair that quickly as well.
Yeah, for example, whenever I went to my pulmonologist, and I said, I think I need some of that, breathing treatments where you do the inhalation thing. And he said, okay. Next day, I get a call from somebody who's ready to bring out.
Talking about your nebulizer?
Yeah, my nebulizer. Okay. Thank you. The next day, I get a call from a company ready to bring out my nebulizer. How do they get that information so fast? From the doctor? To me, that's kind of I'm not going to say it's shady, but it makes you wonder, okay, I tell my doctor one day, and the next day I get a call from one company, where there's hundreds out there that could do this, and they're ready to do business with me. Somebody on his staff called that company, made them aware of the new prescription for a nebulizer, and then they follow up on it, call me and say, we're your guys.
Heritage Heart, I agree. And that's something I was going to say when he finished his point. A little over 10 years ago, I had my second bout with cancer. And I went through both chemo and radiation. It took me almost 14 months to get everything gone through. During that 14 months, people were so generous with me. The medical community took very good care of me. As a matter of fact, people constantly commented about the care I was getting, people from other states that don't do that. Hello, Albany Mountain, it's good to see you. But that's one thing I can say about this area of Texas. Every experience I have ever had where I needed what I call desperate medical care where you could lose your life if you don't get it. The people have gone out of their way to take care of me. And I have nothing but good to say about the majority of the medical in this part of the world. People are wonderful. That's all I can say.
Cam Patton, I had a portable oxygen generator, but when I changed my big one, I had a 5-liter, and I felt I needed a bigger one. I asked for one. They gave me a 10. Apparently, if you go to a 10, there are no portables that go that high, so they take it away from you and they give you oxygen bottles. I am currently working on getting my portable back or getting a prescription for one. I know they're really, really expensive, but even if I have to get one at my own expense, I'm going to try to, because the oxygen bottles are a pain in the butt.
And they're heavy.
Yeah.
And I'm the one that does most of the moving, and I have a little trouble with it from time to time. And
it's just not convenient. And I got to admit, sitting there in my chair, I got a bottle strapped to the back of the chair. 2,000 PSI in that tank. You can't help but think about the fact that I'm riding around with a bomb
on your back,
nestled up against my back. If that thing exploded, it's over. That's all. Now, it's not gonna. Those bottles are tested 7 ways to Sunday and everything else, but you can't help but think about it. It's just that little niggling in the back of your head.
Right.
So anyway.
Celtic, David's chair reclines a certain amount and also goes up and down. So
it's
those are getting to be fairly standard.
Mine will lift some. It's got a manual recline on it. It doesn't have a power. The other one I did that broke had a power recline on
It
it.
had to power everything.
It
on
had
it.
power everything. And
But it was a very expensive
that
chair.
was about a $10,000 chair, but the motherboard bit to dust, and well, it cost $4,000 to fix it, so
And
it
I
ain't
was-
worth it.
And I'm the one that broke it.
Yeah, well, it just broke, darling. It wasn't you. It was just.
It happened to break when I was driving it.
Okay, but it just broke. That's all there is to it. I mean, it'd be like blaming me for all the snow coming through. It's useless.
Are you who I get to blame for that?
Wasn't your fault, darling. It just happened to be while you were using it.
Yeah, thank you, sweetie.
It was her fault.
Mom has a lift chair and needs a new one, but don't have the funds at the moment. Yeah, I know how that goes, Joe.
Yeah, Joe. It's not cheap. I mean, the care for those with disabilities, and I found this to be true when I was working over in Florida for the Governor's Commission on Disabilities. People with disabilities just routinely get ripped off. We get ripped off worse than any other segment of society I think there is, because it can be done with almost impunity. There are no rules.
Hold on just a minute. I'm sorry. Lori, you might want to investigate. They now have seats that actually go in existing chairs that are powered. And when it's time to stand up, you can press the button and they will lift into the standing position. My dad had one, and the oldest of my three younger sisters had one. It was not as expensive as a chair. It helped them get up and down, so it will work. Joe, your job is taking care of disabled parents. I understand about that. I take care of both of mine as well.
And me.
Oh, Albany, what broke down was we had a very nice power chair that was given to David by a friend of ours that, I mean, it would do everything. It could go up and down. It could go backwards. He tinkered with it, so it went a lot faster.
It'd go about 12 miles an hour. It was fast.
Yeah.
But anyway, the motherboard cracked, or something on the motherboard shorted out. That's all there is to it. And the only way to get it back on the road would literally be to go in there and replace the entire CPU. And that's like 3/4 of the cost of the original chair.
Right.
The original chair, I believe, I went and, because of all the attachments and options, I couldn't really get an accurate price, but it was somewhere in the neighborhood of $12,000 if you went out and bought it yourself. And the CPU, if I wanted to replace that, was over $4,000. So, at best, even though I had nothing invested in the chair, it would cost me $4,000 to get it running again. And I can't justify that. When I found out that I could go out and get a chair that meets my needs for $1,200. So that's the way I went. I wouldn't mind having that one back. I mean, that'd be great. But
going 12 miles an hour.
Well,
my mom uses a triangular shaped walker. And it has one wheel in front, the two in the back, and she just pushes it all over her house. It helps her because their home is older and have very narrow doors. So she uses that. But her dad got her one of those up walkers. I think
the
is what
ones
they're
that
called.
you kind of stand up or
You
higher.
stand up and you brace your whole arm on them, so you're not just holding on with your hands. And she likes it, but she can't get around through those narrow doors with the thing. So she's not using much of either one right now. She just
falls a lot.
refuses to use walkers.
And Tom, Kate's stepdad, is going downhill very quickly. For those of you who do keep us in prayer, please keep Tom Taylor in your prayers. He's declining fast, and we're sorely afraid that he's going to be the one that ends up needing to go into assisted living, perhaps even memory care. He's getting to where he's losing track of stuff. And like, for example, the other day he was out driving, and he was definitely having an episode where, he couldn't remember stuff, but he was out driving around. Yep.
Yeah, Amy, I left them in bed a little late, so now that they're up.
Yeah, they're carrying on a little bit.
Thank you, Celtic.
Yep.
Let's see. I'm here so they don't end up there.
Yeah, I understand. I heard that, Joe. And God, more power to you, friend. It's a thankless job.
But it's such an important one.
Yeah.
It's so important to your loved ones to have someone they know and trust with them.
God bless you that you're doing it. Just God bless you. That's all I can say. And I hope you stay healthy enough and well enough to
And you love
keep
your
up
job.
with it.
I love mine too.
You know, that's true for a lot of caregivers. You know, there are some that are doing it just because it's a living. But the kind of work that
Take care,
caregivers do,
Celtic.
you can't really do that and
Thanks
not
for
have a
stopping
caring
in.
attitude, because if you don't have a caring attitude, there's so many parts of being a caregiver that would just rub you the wrong way, you know? Because a lot of it is very, let's be honest, unpleasant tasks. So doing that with a hard heart, it just doesn't go together. You know, it just doesn't go together.
That's why it's called caregiving.
Yeah. But
you do have to care to do that.
Like I said, when I worked for the Governor's Commission, I got exposed to callers from all 67 counties of Florida. And one of the biggest issues that we sometimes got was caregivers that were taking advantage of those that they were providing care for. And it was usually a child or a neighbor that would be calling us about what they're doing to Joe next door, or what they're doing to my mom or dad. And we could get some investigations going and get the Department of Children and Families onto it and things of that sort. But it was pathetic, the kind of things that they would do to people.
Don't forget thumbs up if you haven't done it. I see we got 13 watching, but only 11 thumbs. So thumbs up if you remember.
One case, I remember this guy had this really nice power chair.
Joe says his dad's name is Joe too.
He missed a payment on it or something, and the company came out and repossessed it like the day after the payment was due. And, not even a grace period. They just came out and just took it out right from under the power chair. The guy was paraplegic, so he's got no legs, and just left him there. So that those kind of things pretty well suck rocks. Yeah, Joe, that's another thing. Physical security and being susceptible to crime is another one. I had a lot of people that called me that used to say they'd get mugged. They were in a chair just going down the street and they'd get mugged. What are you going to do? You can't really chase them very far. So, yeah, that's a good idea.
How about the gentleman in a wheelchair that was thrown out of his apartment with his family, and then his wheelchair got stolen?
Yep. He was living under a bridge, and they stole his wheelchair right out from under him. Just god-awful stories. I mean, what are you going to do? And oftentimes there was nothing I could do other than give them numbers to call so that they could see if they could get things done. Now and then we would get really, really pissed off. And, I would go to my executive director and say, look, I want to work this one myself, make some calls, jump in some people's shit and get some things done. And he'd either say, okay, or he'd say, give me the information, and he would do it. Now, when he did it, it got results. But I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you. Brian Vaughn was a tiger.
Albany, I've done.
With MS.
I'm sorry. I've done a lot of work, volunteer work in nursing homes. And I agree, I don't want to put my parents in a nursing home. We are investigating the assisted living, which is a step up from a nursing home because they still have their privacy and they're still allowed to be together as long as it's not medically harmful.
I've narrowed it down to about a dozen.
But I don't want to put my parents in a nursing home. As much time as I spent there, and I know there are some good as well as some bad, I still don't want to do that. It can be, dementia is a mean animal. Yes, that's what Tom is having problems with. Tom is my stepdad, by the way. My biological dad died in 85. But yes, it is very... It's terrible. Dementia is just, they don't remember from day to day, and that's what I think Tom has problems with, because one day he's fine, he's right on the mark, he remembers everything, and the next day he looks at Mom like he doesn't even know who she is. And the odd part of that is that now he's decided that I am the go-to person for anything he wants to get done. If he has a problem
Yep.
with something,
Call Kate.
call Kate.
She'll take care of it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he has the utmost confidence, and generally I do manage to get it taken care of, but you would think he would want to depend on his own wife.
Well,
But he wants
she's
to
in
call me.
almost as bad a shape as he is. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is that now both of them need hearing aids. Won't get them fixed. Won't get new ones. So when they're talking to each other, they don't know what the other one's really saying, and they're just all of their means of communication are kind of broken down. So he's of the mind that, well, just tell Kate what's going on and she'll fix it. But when Kate fixes it, he often doesn't take the fix. Kate set up some fumigation for their house. They were going to have to leave for a few hours. Tom didn't like it, so he set up with another company to do it differently, and they fell through completely.
And it was going to cost him over double
it
what
was gonna-
my company would have
Yeah,
cost.
the bid they got from this company that Tom wanted was way higher. So, and then another one,
I'm glad to hear, Lord. That's
what
good.
was it, the other one?
The what?
There was something else he did besides that, just recently. I can't remember
The phone.
now. Yeah, he wants a.
When my mom decided she wanted a smartphone so she could go online, he decided he wanted to stay with a flip phone, but he wanted to go with the same company. So we got him the Jitterbug flip phone, and we got her the Lively smartphone, all from the same company called Great Call. He had his Jitterbug phone for about a year, and he lost it. So he called me on Mom's phone and told me that he'd lost it. And I said, well, let me see what we can do about it, and I'll get back with you tomorrow. Well, in the meantime, he didn't want to wait, so we went to Best Buy, and he bought another Jitterbug. It was not the same model, but they don't make that model anymore. And then he called me, and he was upset because the Jitterbug phone wouldn't work. He didn't know you had to have it. You had to have it call the company and get it authorized.
Well, you got it. There's a chip you got
activated.
Yeah,
Activated.
and there's a chip in there that you got to get activated,
Yeah.
because that's what's got the number on it and all that stuff.
So anyway, we finally got it corrected for him and running, and now because it's a different model, he can't make it work. So he called me this past week, and he and Mom were going to get in their car in the snow and go over to Best Buy and buy another phone because he didn't like that one. So I finally talked him out of it, and I'm going to have to do something about seeing if I can find an older Jitterbug for him because he's just not happy with this new one. But he just does things out of the blue. 1 minute it's okay that I'm handling it, the next minute he's decided that it's not right, and he's going to go take care of it himself.
Joe, I'm
His grandmother.
really sorry about the difficulties that you've had with that, but I'm, as I said before, God bless you for providing the care for your mom and dad. That's, and in my estimation, really, there's no higher calling.
Lori, I'm glad you found another place for your mom.
Yes.
I really am.
That too.
I wanted to move Mom and Tom here. We have a guest suite on the opposite side of the house from our bedroom that has its own bathroom, but she can't deal with the noise the grandbirds make. It really, really bothers her.
She came out here, I think it was our first Thanksgiving, and we had them. We had the whole family here. There was 12 or 14 people, and of course the birds. And the birds went off just about the time we all sat down to eat, and Mimi just about came out of her chair. I mean, they hadn't screamed until then, and then after we all got sat down, they let go, and she just freaked out. I mean, I've never seen anybody get so wired when the birds start, because when they start screaming,
They are loud.
they can scream continuously for a couple of minutes before they stop. And I'm talking about scream, 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 scream.
Noise you can hear 5 miles away if you're
Yeah,
outside.
it's their calling. in the forest.
It is loud.
And stopping them is very difficult because they're going to do it. I can go over and holler at them. Maybe they'll stop, maybe they won't.
Or you can spray them with water like I do, and maybe they'll stop, and maybe they won't.
But Mimi just went nuts.
And now if
she hasn't been back to the house since.
No, she hasn't.
No, there was one occasion.
Was there? Oh, okay.
There was one occasion she came, and I think we covered the birds up while she was here. So anyway.
And if we're talking on the phone and the birds start to scream, she hangs up. She can't deal with the noise, she says.
You're welcome, Joe. Like I said, God love you for doing all that.
So get this. The day after I got all the approvals to switch from a different nursing home, the front page of the paper had an article about her old
Oh my God.
and a sex offender as a resident. Oh dear.
Whoa.
Oh, goodness. I hope your mom was okay. I hope she did not get hurt by that person. I'm really sorry.
Huh. That's disgusting. Truly disgusting.
Yeah, there are some really, really bad situations in nursing homes.
Yeah.
Not all of them are that way. There are some good ones out there.
Yeah. I agree. And, when the time comes, even though my mobility is fairly limited, I intend to go along to check out some places with Kate to see what we might recommend to Mimi and Tom about where they may want to go. The cost seems to run about $4,000 a month per person, but if they both go at the same time and share a room, it's cheaper. Where it might be around $4,000 a piece, it drops down to where it's maybe $3,000 a piece if they go together. If they don't, or if it's just one of them, let's say just Tom and Mimi doesn't go, then it's going to be more expensive. Unless he's willing to take a roommate, which in Tom's case, I think is
Now,
highly unlikely.
Is that in an assisted living?
Yes, assisted living and some care. They'll help with medications. They'll help with activities of daily living, helping them to get dressed and so on. But there's others that go further, like with memory care, and those are more. And others where they're more limited in their activities. They're in a wheelchair, for example, and they need transport several times a day to get from here to there.
Yes, Amy, thank you. We have talked about it.
Amy,
you have no idea how wonderful it is to know.
You've given me some peace
right
of mind,
now,
Amy. You really have.
Allie, right now, the temperature outside is in the probably 60s. High 50s or low 60s.
It's in the 60s right now. It was 64, 65 when I saw it.
It's kind of hazy. You can see clouds in the distance, but it's not bad at all. It's really lovely.
Amy, I got to tell you something, Amy. I'm not a well man. Let's be honest. And the chances are good that I will probably die before Kate does.
Unfortunately.
Having the offer from you and Brett and your entire family to literally take Kate in and care for her gives me a lot of peace. It really does. It gives me a lot of peace because I have a lot of anxiety and fear about how Kate is going to do when I'm not here. And knowing that she's got you all to fall back on is a great comfort to me. And I want you to know that from my heart. I am grateful for your offer. And
Joe,
I hope it doesn't have to be used for a long time, but it's good to know it's there. Thank you.
Joe, do your parents, either of them, have feeding tubes? You say you specialize in those?
Between boo-boos and bullet wounds,
she says she'll take care of you too.
I know. I tell you what, Amy, in this house, when I moved in, it wasn't long before I said, this is the place that I'll be leaving boots first. And I kind of figure that's the case.
Yeah.
When I leave here, for the last time, it'll be boots first.
Been on a G tube for almost 3 years.
Oh my. Yeah,
My,
I imagine you have gotten pretty good with that stuff.
Some of you know my friend Daddy Curbs. He's the one that got me started on YouTube. His youngest son.
Very good man.
Yeah.
Very good.
His youngest son has been on a G tube for
years.
Probably 3 years now, maybe 4. Least. And it has made a huge difference in his health. He has the FOXG1 chromosomal problem.
And he's outlived the predicted lifespan already.
Yeah. His health was going down. He was having issues eating, something about the texture of food in his mouth. He was not able to eat. And he was going down very quickly. The doctor finally convinced him to do the feeding tube, and he is so much better. He is, he's interacting with people again. Yes.
What's a peg tube? I don't know what that one is.
Either. But Luke is so much better. And speaking of Daddy Curbs, he came out in the snow and brought us 6 gallons of water when he found out we didn't have water.
We were getting low and just had maybe 2 or 3 gallons left for drinking water.
Yep.
So he came by with half a dozen gallons, and luckily the next day is when was that Sunday that what's today? When did we get our water back on?
Sunday. It was Wednesday that he came.
Was it Thursday that? No.
And it was Friday that.
It was Saturday, Friday or Saturday? Friday. So yeah, so we definitely got into the water he brought, and it really helped us out.
And
time runs together on all that stuff.
It's amazing. He calls to check on us on a regular basis. When he found out that I was down to our last couple of gallons of drinking water and I was melting snow so we'd have flush power, he came. He just came over. He worked at a nursing home for quite a few years. I've seen a lot, but I think it's a blessing to be able to care for him.
Well, Amy, in a nutshell, that's the job description right there. The last part. If you're going to be a caregiver, then you need to be able to love someone in the end of their lives when they need it most. That is like number one job requirement right there. Because otherwise, you're just whistling in the wind. You're just providing care for another person. Without that love and that caring in there, that makes it a much less pleasant task. So, yeah.
On that note, when my children's father discovered that he had cancer, he and I had been separated for 13 years at that point. We had not divorced, but we were separated. And my oldest daughter came to me and told me that her dad had cancer and pancreatic, and would I go with her to the hospital to see him, because she had not seen him since he was diagnosed, and she was very upset. Hello, John. Good to see you. So I went with her, and we had a good visit, the three of us. Later on, he came from the hospital he was in. He was at the VA hospital. Later on, he came back to his home in Austin. And for several months, she and I split our time. I would go from Sunday through Wednesday and care for him in his home. And she would go Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Who was doing that? Was that KJ? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So we did that. Then when his cancer just got to the point where he had to be hospitalized again, I went to the hospital when he was ready to come home and brought him home to my home and cared for him for the last 2 months of his life there in our living room.
Well, I knew about that part. I didn't realize KJ had a part in that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kate is...
yeah, you do. Caring...
Kate's a pretty special person. Now, the good news is her and her then husband, Richard, really had a very odd relationship.
Yes, we did.
During those 2 months that he was there in her care, Kate tells me that they managed to speak a lot, and he expressed some of the
issues that
he had within himself that made him such a difficult companion. So there was some peace at the end for Kate about her life with Richard, which was truly bizarre. And then I came along and made it even weirder.
Can you guys hear him? I know he's kind of quiet today.
Yeah, and the microphone's a little bit far away.
And
But
I
anyway.
have my ears in, so I'm not hearing you real well.
Uh-oh. That's why I'm having to scream at you, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. All right,
Peg
peg tube is a feeding tube. I'm just going, okay. Oh, no.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, you go do what's needed there, darling.
Take care, Lori.
And
We'll put her on there on the list again. And your sister.
Okay, they can hear me 5 by 5. That's good. Thank you. Not that I have anything worth listening to, but oh well. Yeah, it has been an interesting week with all the stuff that's been going on. The group that we go to here in Cibolo for Facebook, it's got 20 some odd thousand members in it, and there's maybe 2% that are particularly vocal. I hate to say it, but I'm probably in that 2%.
Definitely.
And we're the first ones to go out there and give our opinions about just about anything. And I'll tell you what, there's been some hackles raised over this last week about the weather. But there's also been a lot of people that have been putting out there pictures of their kids sledding in the snow or the building snowman and stuff like that. I found a meme of somebody who'd made 2 snow elephants, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful work. So I turned it around and messed with it a little bit, and I reposted it on the Cibolo site saying, I was bored this morning, so this is what I did. And then I showed him these 2 elephants.
Meaning he had made a meme.
1,691 people later, that is the most looked at post I've ever made in my life. Everybody thought I did it. Thought that I made it.
He created it.
That it was beautiful work. They want to know if I did contracts or if I could do something for them with theirs. It just got way out of hand.
We had to turn the comments off.
So turned comments off, and I had to go back and say, whoa, wait a minute, folks. This was just a picture I found on the internet. It weren't me. So it was very strange indeed. Yep.
You're right, Joe. Lori will find the strength to go on.
We always do, don't we? I mean, that is...
I don't find my strength. I turn to my strength every day because I know where my strength comes from. It's not mine. It doesn't reside within me. It's the Lord. And
it does reside within you, though. There's a certainty in your soul, and that does reside within you for your strength.
True.
And that's kind of the way I feel about it.
Strength is what I meant.
Well, there's a certainty in your soul that the strength is there. Do you know what I mean? Can you see that connection?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily I walk around saying I feel strong, but there is a certainty in your soul that the strength is there when the time comes and it's
when I need it. I know I can reach for it.
Exactly.
It'll be there.
There you go. Brute force and ignorance. Yeah, that works too.
The ignorance part works for me a lot too.
Yeah. The ignorance and brute force. Yep. As my dad used to say, get a bigger hammer.
Diamond says the sound is low today.
Oh, okay. Well,
There.
Okay.
You're the one that's hard to hear.
Okay.
I got the lung power to scream if I need to.
That's not the way it used to be, boy. I'll tell you what.
I know.
Kind of the quality of my voice has gone downhill considerably. I had what you call a command voice. People would turn around when I hollered.
Now he sounds like he's dehydrated all the time.
Yeah, I do. Of course, the last time I sounded like this, they tried to tell me I had throat cancer.
Yeah. And what it was just a buildup of medication on his vocal cords. It was not throat cancer.
Yeah, I was using a powder.
They were talking about getting rid of his
taking my vocal cords.
Yeah.
Taking away my ability to speak. I didn't go back to that doctor.
I have a big mouth. I'm sure you can hear me from Texas. I don't know, Amy. I think maybe we meet in the middle somewhere because I have a pretty big mouth too.
We might get your echo, but that's about the best we can do. Oh, by the way, Amy, I wanted to tell you guys, your new broadcast situation for your live stream is
That looks
gorgeous.
great.
That really looks good. I like it a lot.
But I
Yeah.
realized when I saw the picture, I no longer have a bedroom.
Oh,
They-
did you take Kate's bedroom? Did you take Kate's bedroom? Well, now that you're using, by the way, I've known about StreamYard for probably a year or maybe even 18 months. It was still in beta when I first found out about StreamYard, and it's come a long way. And I still get their newsletters, and every now and then I still go to their live streams on Sunday night. But live stream, or I mean,
StreamYard.
StreamYard is a great service. And if I were ever going to go with one where I wanted to get people together, that is definitely what I'd use, would be that one. Ooh, it's
Oh,
fentanyl.
good. I
Oh
would
my God,
appreciate
he's
that.
on fentanyl. That poor guy. Well, I mean,
Oh, she promises there's still room for me.
okay.
I'd hate to have to buy a single wide and stick it on the property just so I have a bedroom.
Well, you know, I mean, think about it. When the time comes, okay, you sell this place. Hopefully, you make some money on it. All the stuff you're going to have to get rid of. But when you go over there, you're going to have at least one U-Haul truck full of stuff
No,
for yourself.
by the time that happens, I'm going to get myself a small motor home.
Okay.
Find a way to
Okay.
build in the back of it for the birds, put the dog and the cat in the front with me, and go.
Okay, that'll work. That'll
There's
work.
actually more room for me now and a big TV I can connect to.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
cool.
Except when you're doing live streams. But that's okay. I know that's.
Now. Question for you. Is there room for a queen size blow up bed? Because I have one.
God, if you're talking about using that one in there, the frame for that bed weighs about 400 pounds. But it's a hospital type, what's the number? A sleep number bed, you know, where you
No.
inflate it?
I'm talking about the blow up bed that we got for Christmas from John Reed that one year that he came for Christmas.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the one in the
No,
disc suite.
I don't, not the sleep number. No.
Good, because that
We're all in an
moving
apartment. needs
moving
to have
that
a
frame
bigger
is
house.
tough.
The one good thing I can say about having a smaller place is that there's less to clean.
There's less ground to cover,
Less to clean.
but sometimes you need that extra space. This house is bigger than what we need. There's no doubt about it. But Kate's managed to fill it.
I was going to say, I find a way to fill up every
She's
little
managed to
space,
fill it.
every
Every-
nook and cranny.
Every crook and nanny. See, Kate has this thing. She very, very much dislikes flat surfaces, and she has to put stuff on all of them. And she does a good job of it. There are very, very few flat surfaces in this house
I'd like my flat surfaces to be filled.
that are,
I don't like empty
Bare.
stuff.
and unfortunately, I'm the other way around.
And you can go in and you can look in our living room and you can tell which recliner is his and which one is mine. Because on his, he has his table and his desk and everything. It's neat and a little, stack.
Well, it's
of
not
everything.
OCD straight, but at least it's organized.
And then you look at my side, and I've got a pile here of this, and I've got a trash can there, and behind my chair, I've got a box with all my yarn and stuff on it, and I'm just comfortable. If I sit down, I can find everything I need without getting up again. So, but he wants everything just nice, neat.
Neat. That's the key word. Right?
I'm not a neat person.
Well, I've always said the kinds of people you have in this world. You have sloppy, neat people, and then you have sloppy, neat people.
A minute, you said that.
You have neat, sloppy people,
There you go.
and then you have sloppy, neat people.
And we have one of each
And
in
we
this
have one of
house. Let's see. What do we say? Amy, you've got enough room for a bullet mattress? Okay, good. Sounds like you and Brett. Yeah, but Amy, you're the neat one. Your house is always perfect. You've got to be the neat one.
Ugh.
Susanna, for Amy, I'm saying this with love. She has both. Oh, good. She said it too. Amy's a lot like me. It's amazing. We're so different in age, and yet we're like twins almost in some things.
Or mother-daughter.
Yeah, could be.
I mean, I can tell you right now that
She is younger than my daughters.
my daughter,
A lot younger than your daughter.
in that situation, she's fallen not far from the tree of her mother, which is kind of unfortunate, but I'm not going to go into that. But she's become her mother in a lot more ways than I would like to have seen. Whereas my son, I'm not sure how to put this, but he's becoming more like me. And to my way of thinking, has become much more likable in the last few years.
Joe, he is, I am the loud one, but he's the boisterous one.
Boisterous, what does that mean? I generally have something to say about most anything, if that's what you're driving at.
And if you sit still long enough, he'll say it all.
No, that's not fair. I don't just walk up to you and start dumping shit in your ear.
No,
Usually there's
but I
something that starts
encourage you to say it, and I ask you questions about it and make you talk.
Heritage Heart Homestead is leaving. Thank you for coming by. Always appreciate everybody who comes by. Thank you again.
Enjoy your supper.
Well, Joe, definitely, I got opinions too. I definitely do that. And as well evidenced by the fact that I do have a soapbox. It's kind of beat up and got a lot of duct tape on it, but I can grab it when I need it. And I'll bring it out and get up on that sucker and I'll say my piece. I've been known to do that. So, what can I say?
Lisa, I'm loud whether I need to be or not. I have a big voice and I use it a lot.
Tell you what, though, I did have some fun with giving my opinions, talking about. There was a episode here in the city, politically, where there were some people taking some very unfair shots at our mayor. He was a decent guy for some shit that went down when he was 19 years old. And there were other members on the council, city council, that were giving him a hard time and really calling him out and making a lot of disparaging remarks and insulting him and his family. Well, I got pissed and I wrote a speech. And when you go there, what was it? You had 3 minutes? Was that right? Mm-hmm. You had 3 minutes where the public could have its say. So I wrote a 3-minute speech.
No, you wrote a longer speech.
Well, I trimmed it down. Kate followed me and she ceded me her minutes. So I think it maybe ended up going a little over 4 minutes. But I got to admit, I nailed these people to the wall. It was one of the most caustic speeches I've ever written.
Oh yeah.
And I had a hell of a good time saying it. And there was a standing ovation when I got done.
Yeah.
So that one and that it gets recorded by the city and then it's available. Hundreds of people apparently went and watched this because I got more messages back via Facebook than I could possibly imagine.
That is what started his nickname of the Bard of Cibolo.
Yeah,
that's where it started.
That's when I found out that I actually did have a fan base of people who read what I wrote and put on the Cibolo website and also on my own page. So it's been kind of interesting. I had fun right now because, man, I nailed some people to the wall. I really did.
He even stood up there at the podium and shook his finger at them and told them they were bad.
You should be ashamed of yourselves. So, and I guess it had some good because they kept the mayor. And I have to say the opposition kind of fizzled after I spoke to the board. A lot of it just kind of went away.
And on our way out the door when the meeting was over, I thought we were going to go get in the car and leave, and we couldn't get out the door for people stopping him to shake his hand and tell him how much they appreciated what he said.
That was bizarre. It took us I mean, we didn't stay for the rest of the meeting, but it took us 5 minutes to get out of there because there was a whole bunch of people stopping us on the way out. So, yeah, everybody's got their 15 minutes of fame. That was mine, I guess. So it didn't last, but about 15 minutes. But I didn't plan for any of it. I didn't anticipate any of it. So it was cool. It was kind of fun.
And what's really fun is now he does a lot of writing and putting it out there. And when he goes he'll go for a period of time where he writes a lot. And then he'll kind of slow down for a while and not write. And then he'll go back to it. Well, when he goes back to it, people all the time say, "Welcome back. We're so glad you're here. We like hearing what you have to say. We like reading what you write," and things like that. So he'll write again for a while, and then he kind of drizzles off, and then he goes on another spurt, and they're all, "Oh, good, you're back. You're back."
Well, I have a project in mind right now that I'm kind of hoping will maybe catch on. I wrote a book about my early years called
Right, Big Dream.
Growing Up David, about my time down in Laredo when I was from like 3 to 10 years old. And maybe it's time for another book.
Growing Up David Part 2?
Well, I don't know, Growing Down David. I don't know what to call it. But I've kind of started keeping track of some of the things that happen to you as you get old and as your body breaks down. Like I said before, I'm not a well man. I'll be the first to admit it. But if with a reasonable degree of humor,
that's right, Big Dream.
And with some, I'm not going to whine. I'll put it that way. That's pointless. So I got to figure out how to say these things in an objective way that doesn't make it sound like I'm going, "Oh, poor me," sitting over here in the corner.
I'm old. Nobody
loves me. I'm going to go eat some dirt. No, that's not what I want. So it's not as easy to write as it sounds. I've written a little bit so far and published or put a couple of things online.
Big Dream.
But I want to press on with it maybe. Anyway.
Big Dream says growing old, David.
Now that's not bad.
I think it's just David getting old.
Yep, growing old David. Well, the other one, growing up David, growing old David. That fits. Thank you.
The declining years
I
are
might
usually
use
the most
that.
fun. Well, when you reach the declining years,
if you can still get around. When you can't get around, Joe.
hang on a minute. When you reach the declining years, you have passed the point where everybody else's opinions of what you do, think, or say matter enough to change what you do, think, or say. When you get older, what you do, think, or say is you, and you're not worried about hiding it. Now, go.
That's very true. That's very true. It's reached the point where I don't give a shit whether you approve of me, agree with me, like me, hate me. I don't care. I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm not going to work every day. I don't have a boss to satisfy, except for Kate. And I do my best on that one, believe me.
And I'm no boss.
I disagree. But anyway.
I have more power than I knew.
Oh, God, yes. You have no idea the power you have. Yeah, no idea.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, Joe's dad. Well,
I agree. We're more genuinely us as we age.
I believe that's, when I was young, say back when I was 40 or 50, and even before that, I always claimed that, saying that wisdom comes with age is bullshit. Well, it ain't. It ain't. I've reached a point where I have a certain amount of wisdom, and I didn't have it when I was 50 or 40 or 30. So it's changes in how you perceive things, how you look at what's important, how you look at what is relevant to you, how you look at what pleases you or satisfies you, things you don't care about anymore. And all that ends up being wisdom somehow.
And Amy, you're not old. You're just getting older.
That's what Kate is. She's not getting old.
She'll
never
get
old. She's just going to keep getting older.
I am definitely an elderly lady, but I am not old.
Well, the other side of that coin too is I'll never be as young again as I am right now.
That's true.
I'll never be young again as I am right now. I'll never be as young again as I am right now. You can say, you get my point there? Yeah.
My mom was 80 and she said she was not old. She was alive. Good point.
Yeah, one of my dad's favorite saying, ask him how he's doing. Above ground taking nourishment. And I've stolen so many phrases from my dad, I swear to God. At the time, I didn't realize what gems they were, but now they are as much a part of me as they were of him. Pretty much every time I go to the doctor, they always ask you how you're doing. And my above ground and taking nourishment is one, or my other is I've felt better, but it costs more. That one usually gets a laugh out of whoever I tell it to. And, there's just some of the stuff that he used to just kind of drop is I'm still dropping 50 years later. So
I've had people tell
Amy,
me that too, Amy.
Yep. There are people out there that do have old souls. I've met a few of them. They seem to understand things a whole lot better, even when they're young. They've come to a realization that the world is a different kind of place.
Lisa Clarkson, me too, David. I'm so much like my dad. My thing is that I'm doing okay for an old bird. Oh, I like that. I like that.
Yep, doing okay for an old bird. That's a good one. I like that.
Being that we're bird people, that really rings a good bell.
And Big Dreams Homestead says that even her daughter's an old soul.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's an advantage. I really do. I think people that do have old souls have a better place in life than those who don't.
I think
there's a lot more understanding of what's going on in the world by somebody who does generally have an old soul.
And people who have old souls are more at peace with themselves.
There you go. That's very true.
Their system, their place in life. Yeah.
They understand the paradoxes.
Right, Big Dreams. We already learned the hard lesson.
Yeah. They understand the dichotomies in the world. They are willing to accept, adversity and proversity, I guess, in equal measure. So, it's a mindset, that's for sure. It's a mindset. And saying that you've learned the hard lessons, that's a good way to put it too.
Yeah, it is. I've been sitting forward too long, my back's getting tired.
Okay, Swabby.
You're liking that, huh?
Good coffee today.
Thank you.
You did good.
It's so nice to be able to just go to the sink and turn on the water
Yeah,
again.
for sure.
I tell you what, I don't think I will take having running water for granted for a very long time. After going a week with melting snow for water and things like that. Of course, then again, we did have electricity, so.
Yeah, but having to carry water is, you imagine those that used to have to carry it for miles just for drinking water?
Mm-hmm. I guarantee one thing, they don't waste it when you have to do that.
Well, I've always maintained, and still do, that if there is another world war, it'll be over water. It'll be over water.
I found I can wash a load of dishes with 1 gallon of water.
Big Dreams hasn't had running water for 3 years. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Hello, Metal for breakfast. It's good to see you. You're right.
Yeah, we've learned some hard lessons this last week. It's been the biggest one we found is that in winter or in bad weather, Texas just closes up. Just click, locked up. That's it. Go away.
Because we have so little of it, we don't know how to do it.
Their borders are not open. Yep. That's just all there is to it. And those of us that are inside, if you were smart, you stayed put. If you had to go out, then God bless you. But Texans do not know how to drive on ice.
They barely know how to drive in rain.
Yeah. I mean, they're to driving on ice.
Yeah, I'll go take care of that.
And if you've lived in Nebraska for 15 years, you know what they are. I would have felt pretty safe going out on the road if I were absolutely alone, no traffic around me, within a mile. I would have done just fine. But getting out here with another Texan coming at me at 30 or 40 miles an hour that doesn't know how to drive on ice and starts to drift. No, I'm staying in, and I did, and that's all there was to it. Yeah, voluntary quarantining when it's cold. That was, I think a lot of people did that. You know, they, in fact, it even put it put COVID on the back burner for a few days down here. There was more information about the weather than there was about COVID-19. The road to heaven does not go through a judgmental person's backyard. Yep, that's very true.
I'll take you where you can look out the window.
Well, hello there, Gandy. What you doing there, big fella? Hello, big boy.
There, now you can see.
Is he the one that was hollering?
Hmm?
Was it him that was hollering?
Yes. I let all three of them out.
Oh, okay. Hello, boys.
They're both on the
Ah,
big cage.
hello, Kareem. Hello, Bravo.
That was Gandy.
Hello, Bravo.
That was making a lot of noise.
Hello,
He's now
Bravo.
on
Bravo
his,
waves to me, by the way. He gives
Yes,
me
he does.
he gives me a high four. He'll be on his perch when I come out in the morning, and I'll say good morning to him, and he'll sit there, and it's always his left, and he's like this. Is it left or right? Left. His left foot, he's waving like this. So he gives me a high four every morning. Yeah, he does.
Anyway, it was Gandy that was being noisy, so I put him on a stand over here where you can look out the window. The other two are on Kareem's cage. So
Which is
I
about
don't know how
9
long they'll stay there. They like to
about
get down
9
and
feet
wander
tall.
around.
That is a tall cage.
Yes, it is.
Made a good deal on that cage when
No. Nacho, go lay down. Go lay down. Nacho.
Bird's got everybody
No.
confused. It's getting kind of crazy around here, folks. The birds start screaming, the dog gets excited. Don't know what to do.
Looking down on the daisies. And
Yep.
things.
That's another one my dad had a saying
Right.
for is I'm on the right side of the grass. Or I'm on the green, I'm sorry, he said, say I'm on the green side of the grass.
Do folks not have propane or natural gas to heat them? No, we do not have propane or natural gas at our house.
Well, that's not entirely true. If we really wanted to heat some water, we do have your rocket stove.
Yeah.
And I do have a couple of propane torches.
Yeah.
So if we were just really up against it, yes, we could. But now generating heat or keeping the house warm, no.
We could.
Albany, you're very fortunate there. Ours were outside too. The two that we lost were outside. Apparently, everything else inside the walls was all right, which I kind of figured would be. But also figured, well, I could be wrong.
And the one outside, the two that broke were both on the north side of the house.
Yep, and I'm glad the water heater's on the north side too, but it's inside a wall, and then there's a cabinet, and of course water heaters generate heat. So I figured, well, we should be good on that one, even if it.
And I did run the hot water.
Yeah, and
Well, before it froze up, I ran the hot
Yeah.
water every once in a while.
we had some pipes dripping until they just quit. But anyway, we seem to have gotten through it with a minimum damage, and our friend David fixed what was going on, and we didn't have to spend $600 on a plumber.
Right.
Couldn't get one. This coming week, there was a thing in the paper about it yesterday that plumbers are getting thousands of calls and just, absolutely don't know what to do. They can't keep up with it. So, because every one of those, it could be several pipes. So it could be a couple of hours of a plumber's time at any given home.
Yeah,
They can only make so
several
many calls a
$100s
day.
just to come out for the call,
Yep.
and then a huge per hour rate, and then inflated cost on parts.
Yeah, it's time to gouge. That's for sure.
Not every plumber's that way, but there are enough of them out there.
Yep. And they can only do so many in a day. So, it's anyway, if you have a plumbing license right here in San Antonio now, this is the time to make some bucks. For sure. One feels exhausted when one feels alone.
Yep. Being alone
Are
is
you feeling exhausted
difficult.
today, Diamond Willow? Is that it's not a particularly cheerful thing to say, but I can certainly understand it.
Did anyone see Daddy Curb's video putting up a couple of? I have not seen it, no. He's the one, Ruth, that brought us water, the first person to bring us water during
Yeah, I
all this
did.
freeze.
He checked on us to see how we were doing and brought us 6 gallons of water that ended up getting us through the last day without water. So his gift to us of that water was very useful and very timely. And it was utilized.
Was this, Ruth, was this a new video that he did?
I like the one that Kate did when she went down there to interview Blake about his barn. Whenever they went through and he kind of went through all the pieces and parts and steps for the construction of it. I thought she did a great job with that interview.
Thank you. Oddly enough, I didn't feel like I was interviewing him. I just
Yeah, it didn't start out that
wondered
way.
about, you knew you were in Texas. I'm glad you. Oh, thank you. Oh,
Posted
she did
it
yesterday.
yesterday.
I'll go look for it.
You have to go see it now.
Oh, thank you, Sean.
Yeah, I thought she did a real good. I mean, when I got ready to edit it, it was nothing to take out, literally. So it was real easy to edit. I put
You
on at
say
the
that
beginning.
about a lot of my videos.
Well, a lot of
There's
you're
not much
getting better and better. And the main thing I do now is I go through and I take out some of your uhs and ahs, and if there's a little break between one segment and another, just joining those together with some sort of a transition, and that's about it. Yep. So you're doing a good job on your videos.
Thank you.
You're not
I
doing
need
that
to
many of
start
them.
doing videos again.
Yeah, you're not doing that many of them, but give me that flashlight over there, would you?
The what?
The flashlight. Right there. That one's yours, right? This is yours?
That's mine.
Okay. These are the best flashlights we've ever had. I'll tell you what, I've got one on my desk, and for its size, it's very deceptive. It's a very good flashlight.
Oh, Amy, you're so sweet. Thank you.
What did Amy say? Because Kate is awesome. Yes, she is. Kate is awesome. Yes.
No, Kate is just surrounded with awesome people.
Well, since I'm the only person here, I can say, well, I don't think that's so true.
Well, I don't mean just here. I mean my life.
Okay.
My life is filled with awesome people.
Ruth said it's a real cliffhanger. What, the tour of the barn, I guess? Maybe? Yeah.
Well,
But she did a
Susanna,
good- she did a good
Canadians may
job.
forget how to drive on icy roads each winter, but Texans forget how to drive on wet roads between rainstorms. Period.
Yeah. If you can go 85 on the interstate, that's Texas. If you do 25 on the ice in Texas, that's dangerous. Because a Texan on the road on ice, even at 25 miles an hour, is a menace to society. And that's all there is to it.
I do know how to drive on ice, but only because I spent 18 months living in Nebraska. And this one taught me how to drive on ice.
Well, that was
And I discovered that driving on ice is not that much different from driving on water.
well. It's like driving on water if you're hydroplaning.
Mm-hmm.
So
I learned.
Oh.
It wasn't terribly difficult.
2:15. I think I'm about ready to make my break. I think I have some golf to watch today. If they
Probably.
yesterday they had some significant weather delays because of the wind.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking they're going to have to finish up for their 36 holes or 54 holes for today probably, and then go on and do another
The last
18 to
18.
finish out their 72. So
Well,
It
I have
could
your
be.
last load of laundry in the dryer, so I'll come fold it, and then your laundry's done.
oh, cool, good.
And I can go back to working in the kitchen some more. I got to boil some more water
Okay.
because I've got to get all of the water
Actually-
back in storage.
Actually, I saw a thing that we don't have to do that anymore.
I know, but when you put water in storage, you want to boil it.
Okay, you're talking about refilling our bottles? Oh, okay, all right. Are you using filtered water for that too, or just regular water?
I boil it for 10 minutes, let it cool off, run it through the filter, and then put it in storage.
Okay. Are you rinsing the inside of the bottles out with any kind of a weak chlorine solution first?
I use water that's got 2 drops of Clorox per gallon of water.
That's about right. That should work. That should work. You're doing good, darling. You're doing good.
Well, that's what you told me to do, so that's what
Yep.
I'm doing. My problem is I've lost a lot of the lids, so I'm going to have to get some new gallon jars. But I'm refilling the ones that I do have lids for. So.
Being a sanitarian does have its
Metal
drawbacks.
for breakfast is doing laundry.
Yep.
Metal for breakfast is also doing
Yeah,
laundry.
Kate was one of the things that really had Kate going wrapped around the axle when we were running out of water was she was just going nuts because she couldn't do laundry. And I mean, she was just wound up. I mean, she was just, I can't do laundry. There were several things that had her going. She was just all wound up. And I asked her what's going on. She said, I can't do anything. So not being able to do anything just threw her into a tizzy. I mean,
I do not
So
like
she
to
ended
just
up-
sit still.
she ended up passing out for like 6 hours. She just took a long nap.
3 hours one afternoon.
Yep.
Learn to drive there.
3 weeks of slush. Yep.
Goodness.
Yeah, that'll get your attention. Driving in Nebraska was definitely interesting. Definitely interesting.
That's where I learned what driving on black ice was like.
Yep.
You headed
Okay.
out?
Yeah, I'm going to go.
All righty.
Thank you, folks, for coming. I very much appreciate everybody's participation here and your presence. So, hanging out with us is, if this is a part of your day that you like, I'm glad.
Me too.
You know, if you're coming here to spend time with us for an hour or so on a Sunday, that says something, and I appreciate your presence
John
here.
says, take care and have
Thank
a
you,
great
Amy.
day. Got my first
Yep,
license
John,
Friday,
Joe.
February the 13th, summer snow. Oh, my.
Yep. Joe's good talking to you.
Thank you, Joe.
And again, God bless you, partner. And Ruth, you too. Take care. Ruth was my mother's name. I do have a special fondness for the name Ruth. Okay. Thank you, Amy. You guys take care. I'm a goner.
Everyone says, have a blessed day, and Ruth said, aw. Can you just use the one on your chair for now?
This is the one on my chair.
No, that's the big one from in the other room. The one on your chair is on your chair. Oh, you're talking about the end of it. I'm sorry. I thought you... No. I brought that around.
Isn't this the one that goes to my chair?
No.
Okay.
The one that goes to your chair is in your chair. Look at your chair.
Okay, but I need to reconnect that one to the air, right?
That's the one that goes into the living room, yes.
All right, now you
Sorry.
got me confused, woman. Is this the one that goes to my chair or not?
In the living room?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I need to take it back. I need to take this one back to my chair.
No, just leave it and I'll take it and bring it around. You don't need to take anything loose from the machine.
All right, you've lost me, but I'll let you deal with it. I don't know what I
Okay.
need to do.
Okay. Everyone's saying, have a good day. Amy says, enjoy your golf.
Okay.
Hello, Billy. Welcome. I didn't see you come in earlier. Now that we got that straight. I have Celtic Bear's doctor's appointment for the wheelchair, and I have Lori at Firefly, the health of her mom and sisters. Is there anything else we need to add to the prayer list for this week? You released the rising of the peaks within the last couple of days. You lost me. I go. Thank you, Billy. Susanna, I'm sorry. You lost me. I got so bumfoozled with all of the chair discussions there.
Okay,
Yeah.
I need that hose in the living room. That is the one that goes to my chair.
Yes, dear. I know that.
Okay, but you kept saying use the one by my chair.
No, I said use the one in your chair, the one you're sitting on that's attached to the bottom.
Okay, you were not clear on that, sweetheart.
I'm sorry. Okay. Amy, keep the. Oh, you're still have that toothache, Amy. I'm sorry. And Market Rolling Homestead. Okay. Yes, I have him on last week's. Okay. Anyone else? Some type of plant that will numb the tooth pain. I know that clove oil is supposed to numb tooth pain. Amy, if you have any essential oil of cloves, that will help. Some people, I've not done this, but some people say that if you hold a tea bag on the gums by the tooth, that helps. I'm going to get the tooth cut out as soon as I can, but got to get repairs done for my car first. Yeah. Well, clove oil does help. Ground cloves, metal for breakfast. I'm told if you put that in a tea bag and hold it against it, it'll do the same thing. Beyond that, I don't know. My oldest daughter had some tooth abscess. Clove is helping, and you're going to try comfrey too. Okay, don't know anything about comfrey. My oldest daughter used the tea bag thing when she had one abscess. Yeah. Antibiotics are important if you have an abscess. My family used to call me the $1 million mouth. I had so many abscesses. At one point, I had 5 active abscesses in my mouth at one point, and it was amazing. Brett surely has a chisel. Oh, Susanna. That sounds funny, but I've had enough abscesses that the thought hurts. And mine is the situation is that right now I don't have any abscesses because I had all my teeth pulled, but they did an implant of a post so that my lower denture would stay in more easily, and the post abscessed. So I was supposed to have gone last Thursday and had that post removed surgically, but with all the bad weather, we couldn't do it. I talked to my dentist, and his office had no electricity and no water, so I told him I wouldn't come in. But they're going to call back this next week and reschedule. Again, this will be the 3rd time it's been rescheduled. Things keep happening. Oh, well, maybe I'm not supposed to. Whiskey first, then the chisel. Good idea, Meadow. Isn't that the way they used to handle it back in the early 1800s? At least here in Texas, I know that's what they used to do. Get them real drunk and then take the tooth out. Just keep that tooth really clean. Use peroxide. That's all right. peroxide. It just doesn't need the C. All right. Well, folks, it's almost an hour and a half. I appreciate, let's see, no chisel. Yeah, really. Don't have dental insurance, but there's a dentist in Salisha, Oklahoma that will pull teeth for $75 and fillings for the same price. She's cheaper than monthly premium for dental insurance. Yeah, I agree. I have a wonderful dentist. I I've been going to him for many, many years. Fortunately for me, I've had really good dental insurance until I retired, and he's stood me in good stead many times when I needed dental work, did not have insurance or the money to pay. So save the whiskey for a good occasion. You guys are mean. That's terrible. Last tooth I had removed cost $300. Whoa, yeah. Yeah, it can be really expensive. Anyway, guys, an hour and 30 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and close up too. Don't make up to my hubby for being obtuse and confusing him and myself at the same time. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week. I love you all. Thank you for coming by again this Sunday, and we'll see you next week if we don't see you before. So glad to visit with you, and David, thanks for the wonderful live stream in the press. I love you too, bunches. Y'all take care. Bye.